I'm honored to be back in Chicago. It is where our heart resides. And to be a part of the evening honoring Dick and Mary, whose many contributions to the cultural and intellectual life of Chicago have been said and described, and they are deep and lasting. They are dear friends, and no one deserves the Harvard Club honor more than they. I'm a little embarrassed to be making these remarks. I thought I might just heap mounds of praise on Dick and Mary, which is what they really deserve. But I know the seriousness of the Harvard Club, and I was persuaded by that seriousness to pretend to some seriousness myself. And so I will, but only briefly, and I mean that seriously, only briefly. And if you set your clocks, I promise it's 10 minutes. It may seem like it's going forever, but it'll only be 10 minutes. Now, I've titled my remarks, Gray Matter, for obvious reasons. Dick and Mary's many contributions matter. Dick and Mary gray matter, and they matter precisely where gray matter resides, in the central nervous system, in the neurons and cells of the brain stem and cerebellum, areas of the body we all associate with Dick and Mary. Gray matter contains most of the brain's neuronal cell bodies, and if there's a doctor or a biologist in the room, please stop me if I start to way off the tracks on these things. But gray matter contains most of the brain's neuronal cell bodies and includes regions of the brain involved in sensory perception, such as seeing and hearing, memory, emotions, speech, decision-making, and self-control. Again, where Dick's and Mary's many contributions reside, in the Art Institute, seeing, in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, hearing, in both institutions, emotions, and in the University of Chicago and the Chicago Humanities Festival, decision-making and self-control, and in the way they lead their lives, self-control. To all four institutions, the grays matter precisely as gray matter matters, and where it counts, in the deep recesses and quick responsiveness of the brain. Now, I noticed recently, as thinking about this, and why I should be so surprised by this, I don't know, but I noticed recently that there's a software reseller called Gray Matter. And according to its website, Gray Matter provides the best software and licensing advice to ensure that customers have the right software at the right price, correctly licensed. In other words, Gray Matter does all the thinking for you when you're searching for just the right kind of software to answer your questions, analyze your data, and publish your results. And in the digital era in which we live, access to content, richly enhanced by software, and all of the algorithms that fire it, is king. Now, the Getty has been pioneer in things digital as they pertain to the world of art, architecture, and conservation, and board digital publishing for many years. One of the Getty's first programs, the Getty Art History Information Program, applied computer technology to the research needs of art historians worldwide as early as the early 1980s. Through its initial activities, AHIP, and by all accounts, it was hip, it worked on a number of projects that represented a range of approaches to the automation of art historical tools and information. The first were bibliographic projects, including the online International Repertory of the Literature of Art. I'm sure you all have subscriptions to it, or RELA, which put online the pre-existing catalog of English language indexing and abstract services for articles, books, and exhibition catalogs on Western art from late antiquity to the present. 8 years later, the Getty began to collaborate with France's Centre National de la Recherche to produce the bibliography of the history of art, which was a merger of these two, RELA and the French Repertoire d'Art and d'Archéologie. These important projects were straightforward digitization projects. That is, they were ways of speeding up the ways by which researchers could find already published material. If, for example, you're looking for information about the great Italian Renaissance painter Raphael, go to the Getty Research Institute website and click on Search Tools and Databases. You can do it all right now if you wanted to, I'm sure. Then click on BHA and RILA, and you'll find a little under 3,000 entries for books, dissertations, and articles about an artist named Raphael. Now, that might be his first name, like the artist you were looking for, or it might be his middle name, like the 18th century German painter Anton Raphael Mengs, or the 17th century Austrian sculptor Georg Raphael Dohner. Now, digital art technology is good, but it's limited. It's not that good. It searches through massive amounts of data, and it finds every arrangement of letters that comprise the discrete grouping RAPHAEL. Of course, you can limit your search and narrow it in on the very subject you're looking for, the 16th century Italian painter Raphael. But what if his name is spelled differently in different languages at different times? Well, it turns out that our Raphael can be found in the Western language literature and art in at least 11 different ways. Raphael Sancio, Raphael Santio da Urbino, Raphael Santi, Raphael Santo, Raphael Sanzio d'Urbino, Raphael Urbina, etc. So given all of these variations, the Getty has created something called the Union List of Artist Names, which serves as a set of standards for researchers and catalogers indexing or searching publications listed in various online indices, which link one spelling to another, to help us find all citations listed for Raphael, at least those citations in Western language publications. And we're currently adding non-Western references so that we can be confident to get more and more citations for publications in all research languages, but that's going to take some time. Now, the Union List of Artist Names and its three sister vocabularies, I have to confess that when I first came to the Getty, there was a little reception, I met people, I said to someone who was talking to me, I said, well, what do you do at the Getty? She says, well, I'm in vocabularies. And I thought, Sesame Street or something, you know, I didn't quite know what vocabularies was. Well, it turns out vocabularies is, as I will soon describe them, various ways to aggregate information and search through that information. So there's the Getty Thesaurus of Greek geographic names, should you be in need of determining geographic names, the Art and Architecture Thesaurus, and the Cultural Objects Name Authority. And these are meant to help in researching, cataloging, and indexing relevant scholarly articles, dissertations, and books. They're not intended to help scholars read them, however. That's the responsibility of other parts of the Getty. It's just a way to get to them. Now you have to find a way to read them online. So Getty Publications has put online its virtual library, comprising more than 250 backlisted books in PDF format that can be read online or downloaded as PDFs free of charge. In addition, the Getty Conservation Institute has put online dozens more professional publications, and the Getty Research Institute, in collaboration with 8 large art historical libraries around the world, has developed the Getty Research Portal, through which scholars can search all of the participating libraries' digitized holdings simultaneously. In other words, you can just go to this portal, you can put in Raphael, you can find your way through them all. You don't have to go library by library, library catalog. The goal, and you can download all those books, the goal of the research portal is to have all art historical literature prior to 1923, you'll know why, because that's the copyright law in this country, available online free, downloadable, and word searchable. That's all art historical literature. That's worthy of a Daniel Burnham aspiration. To date, the Getty portal has more than 43,500 books available in and through the portal. 159 of them concern Raphael, this evening's favorite Italian Renaissance painter. Now, in addition to digitizing books, the Getty has encouraged the production of born digital books, specifically online scholarly catalogs, collection catalogs. In 2009, the Getty Foundation funded 9 online projects, including the Art Institute's initial Monet project. Every project has now been published, and in my view, the Art Institute is a model project. It is rich with data, from available light photographs to x-rays, technical and art historical descriptions, provenance history, and more, and all of this in an interactive platform that, while resembling a printed book, is more substantial and dynamic and easily updatable. Indeed, the Art Institute's online catalog was so promising that the Getty Foundation funded the development of a toolkit derived from the Art Institute's project, in which we have since made available to any and all interested museum publishers free. It is not only indices and standardized vocabularies and digitized books that the Getty is committed to putting online free of charge, but also some 100,000 objects from the Getty Museum's collection. And since every major North American and European art museum is doing the same, the Getty will explore the possibility of developing a Getty image portal, through which, like the research portal, interested persons could search the digitized images of all participating museums simultaneously. One search for Raphael would then bring up all of the images of Raphael paintings, drawings, and prints after Raphael in collections from the Getty to Chicago to New York, London, Paris, Berlin, Florence, and Rome, and elsewhere and everywhere. This would be a big image database, and the Getty is dedicated to big databases. That is like the Getty Research Institute's Provenance Index, comprising more than 1.5 million records important to the history of the ownership of works of art, including inventories of private and public archives, could one day be the Gray Gallery archives, of course, from 1550, that's an appeal for a gift, including inventories of private and public archives from 1550 to 1840, sales catalogs and public auctions from 1650 to 1945, and bibliographic information of more than 2,000 German sales catalogs from 1930 to 1945. There are also art dealer stock books, and payments to artists made in Rome between 1576 and 1711. So that's a lot of data, but it's limited data, limited to words searchable because of the sophistication of optical character recognition, or the electronic conversion of images of printed text into machine and hand text. So digitization is good. It's helpful, it speeds things up, but it's still very limited. It means that we can dig deep into piles and piles of data, and we can pull up words relevant to answering the question, what are the extensive and effective networks of transportation, communication, and finance in the second half of the 19th century that connected artists, art dealers, and collectors, and that tell us which artists are most often sold, and through which dealers, in which cities, to which collectors, and at what prices? Well, in fact, as you may have guessed, one of my Getty colleagues has already asked and answered that question, analyzing data from the Getty Provenance Index and visualizing it with mapping software that shows the various relationships by means of larger or smaller collecting lines. It's a way of using optical character recognition to map economic relationships, and the result is powerful and can form the basis for a deep economic and social history of art. But what if the questions are more structural than that? What if they address works of art themselves and not the economic circumstances of works of art, but works of art themselves? Optical character recognition doesn't help us answer those kinds of questions. That's the province and the promise of image recognition. But so far as I know, in any case, image recognition can only recognize simple shapes and forms that might help art historians identify portraits of the same sitter, for example, or paintings with similar compositions or iconographic details, or the development of, let's say, perspective.